Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11, we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. And today we are talking about Chip Trayanum, the wrecking back out of Toledo. Let me tell you guys, after doing a deep dive into him, I really like this kid. We're talking, he had 182 carries for 1,015 yards, 12 touchdowns, and a 5.6 yards per carry average at Toledo. And he did it with violence. Yes, sir. One pride worldwide. You know it. Live into 108 countries, 185 cities worldwide. I'm even shown in Trinidad and Tobago. What? The only sad part is 96% of you don't take the time to go ahead and click that subscribe button that watches these videos. Good morning, Nick, Brent, Michael, and Fred. Here we go. It's good to see everybody here. But Chip Trayanum. Few players in this draft class have taken a more winding, resilient, and complete impressive path to the NFL than Chip Trayanum, the Toledo running back whose career arc spans blue-chip recruiting hype, position changes, Big Ten battles, and finally a breakout season that reintroduced him as one of the most rugged and efficient runners in the country. Trayanum arrives in the league as a mature, physically imposing back with real three-down potential and a professional mindset forged through adversity. He was originally recruited at Arizona State, flashing early as a downhill power-based runner with surprising bursts. When he transferred to Ohio State, the Buckeyes' depth chart and team needed him pushed to a hybrid linebacker role, a testament to his athleticism, toughness, and a willingness to do whatever the team required. But the move also delayed his development as a full-time running back. When he returned to the offense, he showed flashes, but never the consistent workload he needed to showcase his full skill set. That changed in Toledo. The Rockets gave him the ball, gave him a role, and gave him the runway to remind evaluators why he was once considered one of the most physically gifted backs in his recruiting class. Trayanum responded with his best football of his career, emerging as a violent, decisive runner who thrives on contact, but also brings athletic nuance to create beyond what's blocked. At 5'11" and 228 pounds, Trayanum looks like an NFL running back the moment he steps off the bus. His frame is dense and powerful for the wear and tear of pro workload. He's not just a bruiser. His lower body explosiveness shows up in his ability to accelerate through tight creases, bounce off glancing blows, and finish runs with authority. He runs with a low center of gravity, consistently falling forward and turning routine carries into a chain-moving gain. Sound familiar? That music still gives me PTSD. Yo, what's up, Steve Bauer? Yes, good to see you, my brother. But yes, MAC is a no-junk conference, especially as when it comes to quality defense. For that dude to put up those rushing numbers against legit run Ds, he is solid, 100%. The next paragraph is the one that says what I love. Trayanum's running style is defined by decisiveness and violence. He hits holes with conviction, rarely dancing or hesitating. His footwork is efficient. One cut, get vertical, deliver punishment. He is the type of back who forces defenses to tackle him for 4 quarters. By the second half, his physicality becomes a problem. Linebackers bounce, safeties absorb collisions rather than deliver them. He's a tone setter, the kind of runner that changes the temperature of a game. Who does that sound like? Good morning, Grandma Trace. I'm talking about Chip Trayanum. Who did I like in the Senior Bowl? Well, I liked Jake Slaughter, even though the two best, or technically the three best centers never played in the game. We got to see Trey Zune, who showed out a little bit. Max Ahinakor showed out a little bit. One of the QBs, I can't remember, Gus Neusmeyer of LSU was probably the best QB on the field. Pavia did okay, but he didn't back up his play with his arm, in my opinion. Running with Violence reminds me of the movie Dances with Wolves. I like him. He sounds like David Montgomery for his grit and desire for violence. Yes, that's exactly why I started looking into this kid, was his size. At 5'11" and 228 pounds, he's an inch shorter than David Montgomery and the same weight. He's also just as quick. Remember, Montgomery doesn't have a quick burst. He has a quick speed, though. Once he gets up to speed, he's like a bull in a china shop. Try to stop him. And that's what I see out of this kid. He bulldozed Dante Corleone, the podfather. Or godfather, I should say. Against Cincinnati. So anybody that can truck stick a 6'1", 320-pound man, yeah, the safety from Nebraska, was that Singleton? Fabio is not an NFL key. He doesn't have the size. He has the heart and attitude, but come on, he won't be able to see above the pass. Yeah, a lot of his balls were batted down at the line. I saw that too. Pavia is either a late day 3 or a UDFA at this point. I think he fell off a lot of teams' radars because there was a lot of stuff batted down at the line in the Senior Bowl. So all I'm saying is there's him, and I'm going to be doing another draft profile on another big running back, but he's going to go much earlier than Chip Trayanum, and that's going to be Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. He stood out to me. So he's 6'2" and 228, and he's one of those violent runners too. He just doesn't bounce off as many tackles as Chip Trayanum. And the fact that he can play, hopefully when he apologizes, he meant it. Yeah, well, I don't think so. I think Pavia's Johnny Manziel 2.0. He's got that cocky, arrogant attitude that thinks he's better than everybody. So back to Trayanum. Pavia's only hope is to join the Lingerie Football League. Diego Pavia gives Caleb Williams a run at LGBTQB1 in pro football. I love it. That's good. But this kid here, but Trayanum isn't just a straight line runner. His straight line hammer, his time on defense sharpened his understanding of run fits and pursuit angles, and it shows in his ability to manipulate second level defenders. He presses the line well and uses subtle tempo changes to widen creases. He has enough lateral agility to sidestep penetration. He's not a jitterbug, but he's far from stiff. His short area quickness is underrated, and his ability to reaccelerate after redirecting is one of the more appealing traits in his profile. In the passing game, Trayanum brings two valuable components, reliable hands and excellent pass protection. His experience as linebacker gives him the natural feel for diagnosing pressure, and he's one of the more technically sound blockers in the class. He squares up, anchors well, and delivers a firm punch. That alone will get him on the field early in his NFL career. As a receiver, he's functional, not a route technician, but dependable on swings, checkdowns, and screens. He catches cleanly and transitions upfield with purpose. The biggest question for Trayanum is his ceiling. He's powerful, efficient runner, but he's not a home runner. His long speed is adequate, not threatening. He wins with physicality, visions, and consistency rather than explosive playmaking. Some teams may view him as more of a committee back than a true feature option. Additionally, while his mileage is relatively low, his positional journey means he's still refining some of the finer points of running back play, particularly patience and advanced setup technique. Still, the floor here is extremely appealing. Trayanum projects as a high-end running back too, with the potential to handle RB1 workloads and stretches. He fits best in downhill gap scheme offenses that value physicality and north-south efficiency, but he's versatile enough to function in zone concepts as well. His pass protection and short yardage value give him immediate utility, and his professional demeanor resonates with coaches. Projection round 5 to 6. Physical rotational back with 3-down utility and RB1 spot start potential, scheme fit, gap power, downhill zone, and physical run identity. Chip Trayanum isn't the flashiest back in the class, but he's one of the most dependable. He's built for NFL football, mentally, physically, and stylistically. And for teams searching for a tough, reliable, tone-setting runner, he's going to be one of the best value picks on day 3. I'm not. Mike LaFleur, he's trained by his brother. Come on. We'll see if the LaFleur. Oh, yeah, because he also knows how to tackle. He hits with the same violence he runs with. I can see him being a very valuable gunner or blocker in punt returns. Oh, there he is, the one and only Smoking Dad. So watch out for Chip Trayanum's name to be called on day 3 of the draft. Hopefully, Brad Holmes pays attention. Hopefully he reads. I tag the Lions on Twitter when I do my draft profile because you can do the @ and the hashtags, and I follow the Detroit Lions, and they actually follow me. The PR department. So hopefully they see this stuff. PTSD. My therapist sends me a bill for $37.50 every time you play that music, SJB. Sorry, everybody loves it around here. It's become a staple. By this time tomorrow, I'll be wearing the new hat and polos. They're supposed to be on the delivery truck today. Can't wait to show them off. I hope they look as good as I think they will. No, he doesn't. It isn't Mike that he has to go to the draft. He does have to go to the draft. He tried to put in for a 7th year of eligibility, which was denied. So, yes, he's entering the draft. NCAA said, no, you can't stay in college. Thank you. I actually posted in my YouTube community area a link to my articles. I've got the 6 draft profiles that I wrote over the weekend and the 3 that I wrote the week before. I'm going to be working on more. Cannot wait for the merch. Let's all support SJB in this community. Let's go. Amen, brother. Thank you. Prayers up to Michael Johnson and his family. I don't want to get into it, but it has to do with the matriarch of his family, his mother. Please give prayers for him. He's our Vikings fan that's usually on the NFL Roundtable Talk. That's why he hasn't been able to be on lately. It's not looking good. He needs all the prayers and support he can get. And of course, Logan Jones gives a thumbs up to you and thanks for the support. What round do you think Chambliss would go? I think Chambliss right now has the chance to slide into the first round to a QB needy team because there isn't that much that's very good in the QB department. I saw the write ups, and are they right? No, I don't agree with them. I don't want Stafford back here. He asked to leave. He asked to be traded out because we didn't give him the coach he wanted. He didn't want to be here then. I don't want him here now. That's where I'm at on it. I don't like addressing the rumor mills. You'll learn this, Nick. I'll shoot him down. I bringing Stafford back makes about as much sense as wiping your ass and taking a shit. They are, and I think Trinidad Chambliss is probably the second best one right now. He may end up a Jet if the Jets are dumb, and I think they are. They'll take him instead of an offensive lineman. They should go offensive lineman or a cornerback with that second pick, or trade back and get more picks. Oh, I know. I think we're going to do both, Brent DeWitt. I think we're going to do both. And the reason why is because we know that Brian Branch just had his surgery in December, and it's a minimum of a 10-month recovery time. So that means it's end of October at the earliest he could come back. So you're looking at end of October to December. That's basically most of the season. Kirby Joseph had his knee surgery. It is not a degenerative knee disease as it was falsely reported. He's going to be back possibly towards the first 4 to 8 weeks of the season. Trinidad Chambliss, if he isn't a gifted a year of extra ability, he deserves to be a first or second round QB. He has shown poise beyond his background. Old Miss recognized it even though he is out. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, we need to get tools around him. We need to get a good, solid backup quarterback. And next Monday, I'm going to focus on him. Wednesday, I'm going to focus on it. Mondays and Wednesdays are going to be draft profiles. I'll handle NFL news on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I have said the same thing repeatedly. I think we should bring Iffy back. He's good in a spot start. And if Kirby's going to miss the first part of the season, that's where he'll be. He can take care of that. We already re-signed Nick Whiteside, who's a corner. We could bring back Avante Maddox, Rock Yassin. Both of those I want back. Oh, he got an extension. Good for him. And also, George Pickens was re-signed to a 3-year contract, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the league with the Cowboys. Imagine that. What did I say? We're going to start seeing these extensions come out that keep guys from being. Rock was solid, no pun intended. Yes, it was. And I like it. And then over the weekend, one of the guys we grew up with on one of the most politically incorrect shows of the 70s passed away. Demond Wilson, an ordained minister, after leaving the show, he passed away. He was the last surviving original cast member of Sanford and Son. He is. He's such a statistician. And I think that's why we brought in. Here's the thing: Campbell's a statistician in a different way. He's like a field general and a motivational guy. He gets the guys rah-rah. He gets them ready to go. Um, he's like taking the pregame energy of Panay Sewell with the smarts of Jared Goff, rolling it into one guy. Not good to focus on just one side of the ball or the other, but he's good at being the general to help each other on each side of the ball, his coordinators that he uses. And I think that's exactly why we hired Drew Petzing and then turned around a few days later and signed Mike Kafka to the assistant role he's in. Because that way, Dan Campbell doesn't have to worry about the offense. If it starts to fall apart, He could switch off who's play calling and not take it over and let them duke it out to see who's best. You could do a role reversal. Petzing becomes assistant. Kafka becomes love Sanford and Son. Yes, one of the greatest shows that would never make it today. That show would not fly today. No one could handle that type of humor. Campbell is definitely a general, spot on SJB, no doubt. He needs an OC and a DC. He is a leader of men, top to bottom, 100%. That's where I'm at on it. Uh, make sure while you're watching, you like this on whatever platform you're here. Yes, Smoking Dad, it's a sad day. Yes, he is. Think about it. He's the only coach in that coaching class of 2021 that still has his job. Think about that for a minute. Sirianni was hired the year before in 2020. Dan Campbell is the only coach that got hired in 2021 that still has a job. Mike McDaniels, nope. Robert Salah, he was the first one to let go, if I remember right. The guy that took over for before Dan Quinn, he was fired. He was hired in 2021. Let's face it. We are blessed to have Dan Campbell as head coach. Is there a little friction between him and Brad right now? Yes, there seems to be a slight disconnect. But you know why? It's kind of hard to be happy with each other when you have disappointing results. This season did not go the way anybody planned. It's the first time we haven't hit the over in 3 seasons. 2022, we hit the over. 2023, we hit the over. 2024, we hit the over. 2025, we missed it by a game and a half. 10.5 was the over-under. So we didn't miss it by much. And the last place schedule gives it to us. If you think about it, look at our schedule. I see it a minimum of 12 wins on it myself, but I'm going to be respectful and say 10 to 12 is my window of wins already, and that's without the schedule coming out yet. Because I don't care the order. I only see 5 losses on that schedule. But anything can happen. And we know the refs will. We saw it this year. 3 wins, vacated. And not just because end of game situations. The one was that touchdown pass from Monty to Goff. Goff was never under center. He stopped off the side of the center. He was not under center in that wildcat formation. Me and Detroit Dom talked on the phone last night for 2 hours because neither one of us could sleep. Just bullshitting about roster moves and stuff like that. I like that center that's a from a Danish center that they got over there at Arizona Cardinals. We could bring him in to be a starter to let whoever we draft sit behind him a year and actually have competent depth. Think about that. Get a veteran guy that's like 27, 28. Yes, they do. Mike Kafka is the coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Clint Kubiak will be the coach of the Oakland Raiders. I just hope he focuses on the Super Bowl this week. I hope he doesn't do a Ben Johnson and call a vanilla play calling and lose to a team that he shouldn't. Because let's face it, that's almost a home game there in San Francisco for Seattle compared to New England that's going all the way across the country. Drake May says he's going to be fine, that his shoulder's not hurting him that much. So that's good for them. That gives them a shot. But one right hit, and he's going to be down and out for part of next year. Any coach hired, I think, is a bust. I didn't like what Jeff Hafley did in college with Boston College, and I think it's going to fail down there in Miami again. I think Robert Salah getting Brian Daboll may be the reason why he's able to be successful with the Titans. Kubiak is a dumbass. I am sorry. He should have done a Ben Johnson and waited a year for a better job. That Raider job is about as enticing to me as on a hooker date without Viagra or to. Oh, now they need a DC too. Wow, I thought Fangio was saying Vic Fangio retires. So they're looking for a DC now in Philly. And they just hired Sean Mannion, a 1-year assistant QB coach, to be their OC. This is not looking good for Philly. They may regress even more. Remember, 11 wins was a regression for them because they were the number 1 seed last year. The year before in 2024. This year it was the Seahawks. Mike Lewis, anger is fear. No, it depends on the person and their chemistry and their character. Anger is not fear. Fear can turn into anger with the right person. And fear is only fear if you let it control you. No. I seriously thought they wouldn't go Patrick Graham in the Steelers. I thought either him or even in Baltimore they could have had him. Yeah, it's talking about Jedis. That's a different mindset. Embrace the hate. Let it flow through you. How's that, Mike Lewis? Go the other way. Last time I saw Fangio was leaning toward coming back. He announced his retirement today. Yeah, that's not good for the rest of the NFC. I don't wish that on any of us. He was actually wait, he won't go back there. He was a DC under Sirianni and then went to the Browns, remember? That's great news for Terrell Williams. Congratulations, Terrell Williams, being cancer free. But that basically is everything in a nutshell. Um, so let's go top fits in the draft. At offensive tackle, the guys with the first round grade I like, and there's 3. It's Francis Mauagawa. Then it's Caleb Lomu, and then it's Caden Proctor for the first round. Everybody else is second round or later, and out of those, I'm going to put Max Henekor at the top of the day 2 prospect. Oh, ooh. And yes, I just wrote a write up about Max Henekor too. But there you go. There are your. That's a link to my articles. If you click that, that'll take you that QR code in the upper left hand corner will take you right to my articles at the South Florida Tribune, where I write about the Lions and draft prospects. Pretty soon, I'll be talking about what off-season moves we need to make in free agency. Because free agency is the next thing up. Watching tape from Arkansas, Texas A&M game, checking out A&M's edges. Ended up loving Mike Washington Jr. running back as a beast. Yes. The guy out of Texas A&M I like, and he wasn't even their starter. It was a rotational guy that would come in. Jamon Tapp, 6'3", 275 pounds. Not the quickest guy off the ball, but wins with technique in his hands, gets good hand pop. If he develops a lower base and just a nicer first step, which comes with time and training, which he didn't get with the first team, he could develop into a solid rotational pass rusher. I like Trey Zune out of ASU if we can't get any of the top guys at center. I like him because of his versatility. He played every position on the offensive line at Arizona State. So there are some guys. There are other options out there that are good. I just have my main target. You all know who it is. It's Logan Jones, the trench commander, the field general of an offensive line for Iowa for 4 straight seasons after Linderbaum left. Yes, he was a redshirt freshman behind Linderbaum and then started 4 straight years. Hell of an understudy as you to be behind, right? You know, a guy to understudy from. Linderbaum, probably one of the best centers in the league since Ragnow retired. It was always 1A, 1B with them as soon as he got into the league. What did I say about Pittsburgh? They made the biggest mistake of the draft not drafting him in 2022 and taking Kenny Pickett and Flickett. Yeah, I've heard, everybody says Connor Lou's the best, and he probably would be if he isn't injury prone. He had his second ACL tear of his college career. So right now I have it Logan Jones, Parker Brailsford, Jake Slaughter, Connor Lou if he can get healthy, Trey Zune, and then a plethora, and then Pat Coogan. And Pat Coogan, the only reason why I have him low is until the combine, he's considered a seventh round pick right now still. He hasn't moved up the draft board after the national championship. Do I think he'll be solid? Yes. Do I think he's a day one starter in the NFL? No, because he needs to work on a lower center of gravity. He needs to work on his hands. He still makes mental mistakes, holds occasionally, and also has some false starts as a center. In other words, his hands get twitchy. He moves his arm while he's holding the ball, which causes a false start. You don't even have to lift your shoulders as a center. That little head bob, as long as your shoulders don't move, is perfectly legal. That's actually a way to draw people off sides without moving. He's back. He didn't get hired by anybody. He's under contract. So unless he gets hired by somebody, he stays right here. So right now, he's still our wide receivers coach. That's why you didn't hear anything. He didn't go anywhere. You only would have heard news if he was gone. That's how that breaks down. Yeah, I don't know which one it is, but none of them are rated that high. If you look, Jennings Dunker, I think he's behind Isaiah World out of Oregon. Both of those guys are good. That's the ginger version of Tate Ratledge that drinks 36 ounces of coffee today. He's probably going to start somewhere for 4 years and die of a heart attack. He has a higher coffee volume than Dan Campbell. Remember, a venti is a 14-ounce cup of coffee. Yeah, and they need to fix that O line. And as much as I hate to say it, they're in a rebuild mode, except the suck. The guy that I would trade Max Crosby to is the Jets. I would take a buttload of picks from them, maybe grab Brees Hall as a complimentary back to Ashton Genty, and start using those mid round picks and both of next year's first round picks to fix that offensive and defensive line. For some reason, it's going. I'm way back here. Huh. So I guess I'll be doing it the old-fashioned way. Boom. Let's go this way, and I'll just put up the comments as they come in, unless I'm not live anymore. But it shows my counters ticking. I have 30 people watching across the network. Have 4 likes already. I think he can be too. He does need to develop some. He needs to accept what the defense will give him at times. He likes to play a little bit of hero ball at times. Nope, you didn't miss anything. But it is that time where I do a mock draft because you know what? I got nothing better to do. It's fun. Who wants a mock draft? I know someone who does. Probably already put it in here. Is it time? Are we going to do it? Mock me, Daddy. There it is. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to do it. And away we go. I already started it, so I'm just going to share the screen. That way it's there at the pick when I get there. All right, let's see who's out there first. We have 2 trade offers. Ooh, I do like this pick here. So let's see. If I go back to 23, that's only 5 spots. I get the 68 pick in the second round. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to take that trade. And Caden Proctor just went off the board. I'm not taking that one. Ooh, wee. And no, not going back that far either. But this is interesting. So instead of we get the last pick in the, so they're telling us that Seattle wins the Super Bowl already. Caden Proctor's here though. Yeah, I'm not doing it. No. God, they want me to trade in our division. Are they nuts? Let's see who's at edge. Derek Moore, Dennis Sutton, 6'5", 268. There's our edge. And Logan Jones just went off the board. Yeah, I'm not taking a whole bunch of future picks. Parker Brailsford. Third time. That's the third time I missed out on him. Let's see what this one says. Can I get $12.50 back from my therapist each time you play that? Dunker's footwork fails him against speedy pass rushers. One scout said he'd better. Yes, exactly. But I like him better than some of the guys later, is what I was getting at. Ooh, back one and gain one. I like it. Let's do that. Now I'm not taking any more trades. No, I'm not trading with you, Patriot. So if I had to pick an OC that's played every position in this draft, I don't know. Is Jalen Kilgore out there? Because if he is, he's not. Cornerback, Hezekiah Mathis. I think he's a type 6'1" and 180. I like trading Stoops better. 6'2" and 198. That's my corner. And yes, I missed out on the Godfather. I missed out on Tariq Sapp. Wow. How many jumped up? I like this guy's size. I'm going to do his draft profile this weekend too. I'm about size and substance. 198. Fifth through sixth round. This is the sixth round, right? Bijan's Prysock just went off the board in the sixth round. Imagine that. Tight end. Uh, this guy had a good game there. 6'3", 256. This is another one that's 6'4" and 250. He doesn't have the speed, but he's a solid blocker. Whereas Cuevas had 58 passes for 678 yards and 6 touchdowns. That merges put him on the radar of power conference schools when he transferred to Washington in 2023. As a result, Cuevas was primarily a rotational tight end during the Washington championship runner-up season, but flashed promise as a big play threat. When Kalen DeBoer left Washington for Alabama, Cuevas was one of the many who followed, who emerged as the team's tight end one, racking up 37 catches for 411 yards and made the PFSN tight end impact rate of a 79.6. I think I can get this. I like this guy, but he's not as big. This guy's quicker. This guy's the number one at Alabama. Let's see. Go back. Let's see. Who have I taken? There's Pat Coogan, offensive guard. DJ Campbell, defense edge. Is there anybody there? Wesley Williams. This was the guy that got a sack. He's 6'3" and 250. He projects more as a outside linebacker in the NFL, but I don't see us needing that unless we don't resign Malcolm Rodriguez. I say Mikel Kamara, double down at edge, and then I'm going to take another corner and not named Alzelian Hamilton out of Fresno State, who's a tiny boy. We don't need tiny boys. We need somebody with some height. I like Dante Belfour, 6'2", 180. And with my last pick, I'm taking my super sleeper, as I like to call him at QB, Jack Strand. There we go. 10 picks in the draft after making a few minor trades. I waited one pick too long to take Parker Brailsford. I should have been settling for Mr. LT Overton instead of taking Danny, but I thought the better value was there at 50 with him. The 68 was where Logan Jones moved up to in the rankings, according to ESPN. So I took the long shot of him making it to me and lost. Stop sharing. Back in the studio. And we're going to load this in here. Jack, last bit of resources on the to visit the best OLED trade as per his time at MSU Moorhead. Nice. So here is our results. Caden Proctor at 23, Danny Dennis Sutton, edge at 50, Parker Brailsford for center out of Alabama, Traden Stoops, cornerback, Arizona, Wyatt Williams Jr., safety, Ole Miss, Chip Trayanum in the sixth round out of Toledo, Nate Forfeiture, Texas A&M tight end, Mikhail Kamara, edge at Indiana, Dante Belfour, cornerback at Texas Tech, and Jack Strand out of MSU Moorhead at QB with our final pick. So I got tackle, I got center, I got two edge, I got a cornerback. I didn't get my cheetah linebacker. I did get two corners, to be exact. Both of them bigger corners than what we got on the roster. One is 6'3", 162. I think it's a solid draft. The only thing I might have done different, I might have taken Kendall Daniels instead of Kamara there, but I thought we needed to double down at edge. He was picked. He was picked the pick before it got to me. He went at 67. Ugh. So somebody's just as smart as me, except it was AI, because that's an AI ran site. The trades are generated basis off of team needs and best players available, is what the script says. So if they have a real high need on their draft board, they're going to trade up for it if it's available. And if you've got that spot and it's not going back into the next round, I don't mind it. I don't want to pick outside the first round. I don't want to be that team that has like, look, we got 3 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks now. Ain't that great? Oh. Because your best players are in the top 50 on an average. You got about 50 great players in every draft, and yet they're only a 32% success rate. GMs fail 68% of the time, which is not the case if you look at the average for Brad Holmes. Look at the number of hits versus misses each year. Year one, well, if he was he a success, even though we didn't re-sign him at the end of his? usually, usually I do. I rolled the dice. I traded back. I lost because I knew that I wasn't picking that much further back, and I would get a third round pick, which makes the team deeper overall. I got the pick where he's actually slated to fall, and he went the pick before it. Not a reach. The team made a good pick, so I picked the next best one. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? And the reason why Jake Slaughter looked like the best center at the Senior Bowl is because he was the only center that accepted the invite other than Trey Zoon. The guys that are ranked above him didn't go because they know they got the combine and pro day to show off their skills. That Senior Bowl is supposed to be for the guys that need to improve their draft stock. Oh yeah, but again, I made sure I got this guy. I think, and of course, Jack Strand. I'll see what I can do for you. Oh goodness gracious, me and the or cornrows or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I'm not a dreadlock type of guy, but I do have it where I have like the super mullet where it's perm back in the '90s. I have a picture of that. I'll have to post that up here somewhere. Then I had the original high and tight mullet back in the '80s when I graduated high school in '88. But thanks for watching, everybody. It has been a blast. Let's see if those comments. Hey, look, I got the comments to come back on time. Good. I can go back to the view I like. If we only get Trayanum as a backup and special teams nut, he is a rock. If we only get Jack Strand for a special code to save on his classmates' only fan pages, I'm down. Let's go live. You know what's funny is MSU Moorhead, which is Minnesota State University out of Moorhead, Minnesota, for those that do not know. He actually their logo is the dragon. Let me see if I can get that picture. Yep, I haven't hit that 100 plateau mark because I deleted a bunch that I didn't need anymore. There he is. Jack Strand, MSU Moorhead, Super Sleeper QB is what I named the article. There's that dragon on the side of the helmet. Jack Strand 5 on Twitter. Follow him. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Prayers up to Dennis Adams, which is Patty Grimes' brother that lost their house last week. Prayers up to Michael Johnson and his family as they deal with his mother's ailment. And prayers up to each and any one of you that are struggling through anything. We need to approach each other with positivity anymore. Just hating each other for their opinion makes about as much sense as wiping your butt than taking a shit anymore. And it bothers me. What happened to being able to debate with somebody without getting angry because their opinion didn't match yours? As long as it comes from the heart, that's what this country needs to get back to. Let's be civil. Face, I don't want to get into politics, and I'm going to leave it at that. Have a blessed day, everybody. Amen, MDE. Have a great day.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.